Hey guys, it's me, Robin, RsIslandCrafts. I thought I'd just pop in real quick and show you another way that I store some of my scraps. We've been working with some of the tiny leftover pieces lately, but a lot of times you have larger chunks and you have to have a way to organize those to make them easy to use. Several years ago, when it was really in the beginning and very popular, I bought an Accuquilt Go cutter and several dies to go with it. I use those dies and I cut up different shapes based on what dies I have, of course, and I store them in these little plastic containers. Let's get a little close-up of them. My local Dollar Tree has these. They are a Sure Fresh reusable container. They're square. Some of them are nice and deep, and some of them are about half that size. They stack very well if you use the same sizes together. These two, the shallow ones, will stack, and then the deeper ones will stack. The base of the shallow ones are 8 inches, but the top is 9 inches, and the deeper ones are 7 inches at the base, but 8 inches at the top. So while you can't stack easily, I mean, it stacks, it's just a little crooked, a shallow on a deep, there's no problem stacking a deep on a shallow. So what I do with these is some of my favorites. I keep a bunch of 2.5 inch squares, 2.5, 2 3/4. After a while, I just stop measuring for hexies, and I marked them not perfect, so I know that they're not all 2.5 inches. And then whenever I want to do a hexie project, I already have tons cut up and ready to go. The Go cutter has a tumbler die. I have the large one. I have the smaller one on my wish list. The large one is about 7 inches, and I believe the smaller one is either 3 or 5. But what's nice with the Accuquilt Go is the cutter cuts off your dog ears for you, so it makes it easy to line them up. There's no guesswork when you line them up to sew. You just match, and then they're even. So once again, this is just another way to store your items, your extra bits of fabrics, so whenever you just want to work on something, it's right there for you, and you don't have to cut things. It has the apple core dies, so I have lots of these. Once again, as you know, I like to work on scrappy projects, so nothing's really matchy-matchy. I keep strips in here because the Go die has a long 2.5 inch strip cutter, among other sizes, which makes it great for bindings. I have circles. This one just has a bunch of squares. And then I just put a little label on the front, 3.5 inch, and I draw a picture of the square. 3.5 inch rectangles. What I really like is I like the triangle die. I have a 6.5, 4 7/8, 3 inch, and 2 inch. And once again, the dies work really well because it has the little dog ears on the corners cut off. So when you lay them together, you just stitch along here, and when you open it up, it's all set to go. The dog ears have been trimmed. You don't have to, as long as you get the right, as long as you have a consistent seam allowance, whether it's a 1/4 inch, a little more, a little less, you won't have to trim your half square triangles up afterwards. So you can cut a whole bunch of different fabrics of different colors and then have one with just solids, and you'll be able to do anything with half square triangles really quick and easy. For those who like to do leader ender projects, if you have a whole bunch of triangles already cut, whenever you're ready to do a half square triangle project, you'll have already sewn a bunch of them together. Now yes, there is some waste when you're using the Go, but if you're just taking your leftover bits and pieces of scraps, it's stuff you probably would have just left in your closet or in a container anyways. So if you lose a little bit, the waste is really minimal if you lay it on the die properly, and there's plenty of YouTube videos to help you with that. Then you really won't have the waste that everyone talks about. I haven't used any yet, but there's even parallelograms. There's different dies. I have butterflies and dragonflies. They have alphabets. But any of these things, even without the Go die, you can cut them yourself. and store it in these boxes. Or if you prefer, if you've already got shoe boxes, you can just go ahead and get more shoe boxes. Maybe grab a different color this time, so you have your strips in one and then you have your shapes in another. Even before I was putting them in the shoe boxes, you can see I was organizing them for string quilts or coin quilts in these containers. So just another way that I store some of my scraps to keep things organized and so I can have no-brainer sewing days. If I just want to sew for 5 minutes, I have things already all set for me and I can just pull them out and go. Happy scrappy sewing! Bye!